June 1st. How will that look?
To be determined. We have been granted permission by the Illinois Supreme Court to begin court proceedings June 1st. That includes, if feasible, jury trials. And we are planning on one jury trial for June 1st in this courthouse. And we will adjust, taking into account and balancing the needs of a person's right to a trial and the cautious and the health of the public. And by balancing those interests, we can, in our view, successfully complete a jury trial come June 1st.
But anyway, it's the biggest one. How is this going to look?
People will be arriving in staggered groups, and I'm talking about jurors now. At no time will they be cramped in close quarters with other jurors, and that's from the time they arrive through the jury selection, through the trial itself, and through deliberations. We are doing away with the jury deliberation room. We'll have breaks and deliberations in the bigger jury assembly room where there's plenty of social distancing. Jurors will be required to wear masks. They will be kept apart from each other, and we will answer any of their concerns as they arise. But we believe we can get it done. We plan on calling in approximately 17 or 20 jurors at 9:30 and 17 to 20 jurors at 11 a.m. Their paths will not cross. And when they do exit one room for another one to enter, there will be cleaning performed in the room where the jurors' initial group had been. Then we will select approximately 25 to report to the courtroom where they can be sufficiently socially distant. And we'll conduct jury selection in the courtroom with those 25. If we need more jurors, we will call a smaller group of 5 to 10 in to complete the jury selection process. And then we will, once a jury is selected, 12 plus 2 alternates, we will stagger them in the jury box and the first few rows of the courtroom bleachers to make sure they're appropriately distanced as well.
What about having the public here?
That is a big consideration and one that the Supreme Court still wants to protect, and so do we. Public trials are an absolute necessity. The public will be allowed with potential limitations. They will not sit on the same side of the courtroom as any jurors that might be in the bleacher. The public members will be spread out, and we are not selecting a high-profile, complex jury trial to begin with, so we expect, based on experience, the members of the public arriving to be minimal, if that. In the event there is a large gathering of public that want to be present and cannot socially distance in the courtroom, we are planning to simply live stream the trial into the jury assembly room where excess overflow members of the public can witness it in that jury room. So we feel we can accommodate virtually any trial at the outset.
But if jurors are going to be meeting in that room to deliberate, where could people go to wait out the verdict?
We can adjust on the fly. First of all, in the unlikely event there's an overflow crowd needed for people to watch this in the jury room, we can adjust by simply moving our jurors for their breaks or deliberation rooms to one of the other empty courtrooms in the courthouse in the near vicinity of this particular courtroom. That should not be a problem at all. We will adapt and adjust.
What about where are the witnesses going to wait?
As before, witnesses simply waited in the hallway. All hallways will be appropriately marked for social distancing. And if the state's attorney or the public defender wants his or her witness or defense attorney to wait in a different area of the courthouse, they can certainly do that. Sometimes witnesses wait in the state's attorney's office in a conference room. Sometimes they wait in the library. There will be enough space in the courthouse for witnesses to wait apart from each other. Each individual courtroom is subject to the individual direction of the presiding judge with guidance from me as the chief judge. And that means there will be times in a trial where an attorney or a witness is not wearing a face mask. And that will be allowed. Distance will still be maintained, because what is critical in a trial is that the jury hear, see, and understand the testimony and the evidence that's being presented. So that could very well occur. This is the balance of people's needs for trials, some of which might be in custody, some not, but still have a keen interest in getting their case tried, versus the risk to the public health. And that's why we're not opening our typical 6 courtrooms to jury trials on June 1st. We're limiting it to 1 with limited numbers of jurors coming in, and we're going to see how that goes, and I'm confident it'll work. And then we'll expand if necessary later in June or July or August.
I think I'm good.